Hello, folks. Welcome back. There he is.
I can't hear that. Hello.
Oh. Hey, Danny.
How you doing?
Good. It's Felix, man. Good to see you.
I can barely hear you, though.
Let's see. Let's see if we can do this here. Let me see. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I've been accused of talking too much and too loud in the past, so maybe this makes up for it. How are you, man?
All right, good. I'm good.
Good. Well, I just want to welcome you to Alt.Latino. Really happy that you're here. Very excited, honored actually, that you're here. Alt.Latino.
Get that closer.
Honored that you're here on our Instagram Live here. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Say it again.
I said, okay. We're really honored that you're here. We wanted to welcome you to Alt.Latino. I'm very, very honored and happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we've been doing this for a while. And one of the things started is to let people know, remind the people, the Alt.Latino fam that's watching this, is what we do, Danny, is in the comments we have people write in where they're listening from, where they're watching from. We can get an idea of where people are listening from, where your fans are. And then also, if you have questions out there, folks, just write them in the comments, and then we'll get to an answer in the section. Okay? So again, we're honored to have actor Danny Trejo here. Danny, again, welcome to Alt.Latino.
We should put that up on this. All right, I'm here.
I said actor, but you're much more than that. You're an entrepreneur. You're a dedicated advocate and counselor, a symbol of Latino presence in Hollywood. You're an ex-con and a recovering addict. And now we can add author to the list of credits with this new book, right? Trejo, My Life of Crime, Redemption, and Hollywood by Danny Trejo and Donald Logue. It's a very good read. I want to encourage people to go out and buy the book and check it out, because there's a lot of stuff in here that we probably didn't know about, Danny. And before we get started, I think the first question I want to ask is, like, why now? Why did you decide to write this book now?
Well, I did a documentary on my life called Inmate Number One, and everybody thought it was because that I was in prison, and it wasn't. It was because I played Inmate Number One my first 5 years of my career. But I thought, wait a minute, you mean people just think that there's a prisoner here? And that was kind of the concept of a lot of actors in Hollywood. You know, for a long time, they wouldn't accept me as a thespian. They would, oh, well, he's a novelty, you know, and I had to pull a couple of them to the side and tell them, yeah, this novelty will beat you to death. So, you know, you gotta, don't be disrespectful, you know, and so now, you know, I said, wait a minute, man, there's more to me than just being an actor, or being this or being that. And I think we kind of covered it, you know, is that we're all flawed, we're all this, we're all that, we're all a lot of things, you know, and I think I covered them, I hope.
You know, sometimes the book feels like a very public therapy session. Deal with some very painful in your life, your struggle with addiction, relationship with your mom and dad, spending time in some of the toughest prisons out there in California, in the country, sometimes in solitary confinement, your relationships with women who've loved and loved you back. Was it cathartic to get all that stuff out in the open as you wrote this book?
You know what? It's like the first time I wrote it, me and Donald Logue, we did a little of it, and I gave it to Maeve, the mother of my children, to read, and she kind of said, yes, very nice, but how come you didn't talk about your mom? How come you didn't talk about your dad? How come you didn't talk about, you've been married 4 times and divorced? How come you didn't talk about having children with women you weren't married to? How come you didn't talk about distrust? I said, what are you talking about? Why did you say distrust? She said, shut up. I was with you for 10 years. You didn't trust me to go to the store, you know, and it was like I was a very distrustful human being. I didn't trust anybody. And I think the only one I ever trusted was my Uncle Gilbert.
Yeah.
You know, and So after we started writing again, Donald started saying, you know what, I understand you now. I really do. I understand you a lot better now that I see, you know, what made you, you know, and I'm sorry, but this is the stuff that made me, you know. I didn't know I was abused. I thought my dad choking me when I was 7 years old was because I fucked up. You know, I was bad, you know, and that's why you get choked. And that's why people threaten to break every bone in your body, because you're screwing up, you know. So, and when going to juvenile hall, God, I thought Mexicans were supposed to go. That's all I saw there.
Yeah. You know, one of the main constants in the book and your life is your dedication to helping others kick drug habits. You've operated recovery clinics. You've made late night visits to addicts who have reached out to you. You say it gives you a sense of purpose and a peace of mind. Is that still part of your life?
Absolutely. Me and Mario Castillo, my assistant, we're working with all the lifers right now that are getting out of prison, because we helped pass the law that actually got my little cousin out, because he went to prison when he was 16, got out when he was 55. And we were doing everything. We talked to the governor, talked to the mayor, talked to Department of Corrections, talked to Senator Bell, and finally passed a law that got him out. And Department of Corrections did not want to let him out. They didn't want anybody to see him get out. So they actually didn't even let us on the grounds. They let him out on the highway. And we picked him up on the highway. Wow. And now there's been about 4,500 juveniles, kids that were sentenced as juvenile that already did 30 years before, that are getting out of prison. And we're helping them, because you're a different man when you're 16 and when you're 40.
Yeah. We all are, bro. That's just the way life is, right?
Yeah.
You know, the other constant in your book is your strong faith in God, and that faith seems to come from experiences that prove that God is watching over you, or at least inspired. You tell a number of stories in the book about how it had to have been divine intervention or God for you that either saved your life, pointed you direction, introduced you to people that would help you along the way. And one in particular was the story about how you got into acting. Mm-hmm. You went to look for a guy who needed help with recovery. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because that's like a transitional moment for you.
That guy, it was funny because the guy I was working with, I still work in drug abuse. I work for Western Pacific MedCorp. My CEO, Mark Hickman, I love him because he lets me go to movies, lets me do whatever. Because all movies are to me is a platform for me to talk at juvenile halls, talk in high schools, talk in prisons. And it's a great platform because I get people's attention immediately.
Yeah.
You know, and not so much Danny Trejo, but the guy from Heat, the guy from Desperado, the guy from Machete. If you're Mexican, the guy from Blood In, Blood Out. You know, right. It's like that. Those were like iconic films, and they want to hear what that guy has to say. And so, I think the biggest part of that is that I love doing it. You know, movies are just that platform. I was working with a kid who got me into being an extra, you know, and we got called on this movie called. He didn't want to go alone because there was so much cocaine in 1984 and 85, and he's trying to kick a cocaine habit. So we go to this movie. I run into a friend of mine from prison, a guy named Eddie Bunker, who was a prolific writer. I mean, unbelievable. He's a great, great writer. And he said, "Hey, Trejo, what's up? What are you doing here, man?" And I said, "Keeping tabs on this kid who wants to stay clean, and they're going to give me $50 for acting like a convict." And we both laughed, because we've been acting like convicts for years for free. And he says, "Danny, you know what? We need somebody to train one of the actors out of box." Because Eddie adapted the movie Runaway Train to a Hollywood movie, because it was written by Ayakawa, and he had the John Voight character as a wife killer. Well, once you kill your wife, you can't be a hero in prison. You know, why'd you kill her? Why didn't you kill the dude that was booking her. You know what I mean? It was like you kill her lover, but if you kill her, you're a punk, you know? And so he says, we need somebody to train one of the actors how to box. And I said, what's it pay? And he said, $320 a day. I said, how bad you want this guy beat up? I thought, you know, shit, I'd have done it for another $50. And he said, no, you got to be real careful. This actor's high-strung, Danny. He might sock you. I said, Eddie, for $320, give him a stick. Are you crazy? I've been beat up for free, homie. I started training an actor named Eric Roberts how to box for the movie Runaway Train. Eric respected me and would do whatever I told him. And the director saw that. The director gave me a Taft-Hartley. I didn't even know what that was. You know, I had no clue. And all of a sudden, I went from being, hey, you, to Mr. Trejo. You know, and all of a sudden, I found out I was making a lot more money. And I said, wow, what just happened, Eddie? He said, you just caught lightning in a bottle. And then Andre leaned over and kissed me on one cheek, kissed me on the other cheek, and walked away. And I remember telling Eddie, look, I'll train the kid for $320, but if I'm going to be kissing that old man, I want more money. He goes, no, he's European. I didn't know. I'm from Pacoima. We don't kiss. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, when I found out what Andre did, I'd kiss him right in the mouth. You know, I go, God, are you kidding? Me and Andre became, he brought me to Russia, to Moscow for the 75th anniversary and the anniversary of Runaway Train.
Wow. That's a lifelong connection, bro. What about, in your books, you point out, you show that it wasn't much of a stretch to be an actor because your life on the street, your life in prison, you know, there was a certain amount of acting, just putting into the presence of being on the street and being a tough guy, right? Like some of that was real, but the other part is like you got to put this front out there, otherwise you're doomed, right? So there was a little bit of acting in that you talk about in the book about how that you just, when you had to train for acting, it was already part of your nature.
Yeah, it was so funny. It was like a director once said, I was doing a movie with Mickey Rourke, and I was playing this maniac killer. I'm killing everybody, stabbing them, cutting their guts, everything. And then the minute I would stop, I'd go over and hug my kids or play with a puppy or something. And the director says, how do you do that? How do you do that, Danny, to go from this crazy maniac to this other? I said, you know what? I've been that guy. That guy makes me throw up. I don't like that guy. I don't want that guy around me, you know? And so I don't, sometimes when I'm acting a certain way, I don't stay there. I hate people that have to stay in character, but they have to because they don't understand that guy. They don't understand the evil of that guy. Do you understand? It's like, I've had to tell a few people at lunch, you know what I mean? We're at lunch, okay? There's no cameras, and they're still saying, hey, pass me the damn bread. I go, hey, you know what? Come here, man. I'll beat you to death. You understand? You start respecting people. And they go, wait, what do you mean? I'm staying in character. I did we're at lunch, fool.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, really, it's like, but I understand that's method or something. I don't know how to do method. I know how to be that character and then cut and then pick up a puppy quick.
What about, I want to remind people who are watching to send in questions in the comments. We're getting a lot of nice, Danny, you get on the comments, man. People are just really writing in from all over, really, the U.S., Latin America, people writing in how much they love your work and your persona and everything you've done. Somebody congratulated you on, I think it was 53 years of sobriety, right? So yeah, you're getting a lot of love out there, bro. And I want to remind people, if you have a question for Danny, just write it in, man. We'll get it right up to you. In the meantime, let's go back to the acting thing for a second. Is it true that you have the record for the number of times that you've been killed?
Yeah, it was 65. I think it's 70 now, 70 or 71. And people say, how do you feel about that? I feel like I've been working, you know, and the only death The only death my daughter cannot watch is the one in Heat. My daughter can't watch it. And she'll, one time I said, "What's wrong, baby?" I said, "Daddy, you lived that way. That was the way you were supposed to die if it wasn't for God." And it's like, it shocked me that she, you know, that she was that, because that was it. I was either going to die of a violent crime in prison or out of prison. But, you know, I remember when everybody was kind of crazy about the millennium. Ooh, the millennium. And they said, "Danny, how do you feel about the millennium?" I said, I wasn't supposed to get out of the 60s. You know, so I'm on God's time. I've been on God's time since 1968.
Wow. You
know, so it's like, I understood why she couldn't. And it's funny because in From Dusk to Dawn, when I died and my eyes went into the pool pockets, she jumped up and went, "Whoa, that was so cool." She was 6.
That scene that you're talking about, that's where you died with when Robert De Niro killed you.
Oh, the scene in Heat, yeah. Robert De Niro killed me. That was cool.
Talk a little bit about that, because like you said that he consulted you a little bit about, okay, how do you want
it? You know what? When we were outside the trailer, we're getting ready to go in for makeup, and he kind of said, "How do you want to play this, Trejo?" And I said, "I don't know, Bob. What do you think, Bob?" I said, "I don't know, Bob. What do you think?" And he said, "You know, I think you're already dead." I love the way he said, "You know, you're already dead. You just have enough breath in you to beg me to kill you." You know, I think that's the way to do it. Got my vote, Bob. I'll go for that. You know, and we did it, the most iconic death in cinema. So, you know, and he was right. I can understand why my daughter can't, because when I watch it, I know that was the way I was checking out. You know, and now it's like I'm, you know, I might have a better chance. You know, I beat cancer. I beat brain surgery. I beat hepatitis C. I got a new shoulder. You know, so I'm doing pretty good. I got CBD. I started a CBD cream just because I can move my shoulder. You know.
Somebody just wrote in. I just saw a comment. What role has had the most impact on you?
What role do what?
What role has had the most impact on you?
Oh God, my son wrote a film called From a Son. And in it, I really had to cry. And I've cried at very few funerals. I've cried. I'm not a crier. Men weren't supposed to cry. And my son, in this movie, I'm supposed to cry. And I wanted to do it kind of like John Wayne. Well, Pilgrim, you had to go, you know. But my son kept showing me these baby pictures. He was, "Hey, Dad, remember I did this? Hey, look at this one, Dad." And in my trailer, there'd be a couple of baby pictures. And I'd be, "What the hell?" You know, I couldn't understand. Then Sasha, what was her last name, Mikey? Faraloma. Sasha Faraloma. This little girl that looked so vulnerable, so unbelievable. Because I asked her, "Did you kill my son? We're in the middle of the desert. Did you kill my son?" She goes, "No, I loved him. He was my only friend." And she busted into Holmes. I started sobbing. I mean, I'm talking about booger sob. I was, and I'm trying to stop. The whole crew's crying. I can't stop. I cried for every time I didn't cry. And I just lost it. I kept seeing these little baby pictures of this kid that I almost lost and that he almost lost me. And it was like, it was the heaviest thing I've ever done. Wow. And especially crying in front of people like that. And I'm talking about, you know, and then I remember my son coming up and going, "Way to act, Dad." It was like, "I'll put you on timeout, you little shit."
What a joy to be able to work with your son like that.
Oh, God, he just finished. In fact, tonight, I'm going to a music video that he directed at where is it? At what theater?
I'm not sure.
It's in Echo Park. Check out what theater it is. And he directed me and
Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. Find out what theater.
Oh,
Call
this is
him.
my phone.
Use mine. Call him. Me and David Hasselhoff in a music video that he did for a band called Starcrawler, and it was like, you know, me and the two of the biggest divas, and he handled us. You know, he was amazing, and to watch him was like, wow, you know. I mean, it's like, I was so, how do you say it? So proud and so overwhelmed, and so respectful of the fact that he was the director. That meant he had all the respect of Michael Mann, of Robert Rodriguez, of any director I ever worked with. And I was so proud of him.
Wow. Yeah, that's that moment, man. Yeah, I have two sons, 21 and 18, or 20 and 17 right now. You know, to be able to see them do things, like stand back and watch, like, you know what, they're their own men, they're doing their thing, and there are moments of, like it's a dad proud thing, man. I don't even know how to describe it, you know?
Yeah, it's so funny. Everybody keeps asking me, when are you going to do Machete 3? Robert Rodriguez, hey, if you're following me, get on the stick and start riding, Holmes.
There's so many people are commenting at the bottom of the screen. Talk a little bit about Machete, man. You know,
I love that movie. I would have loved what is it? I would have loved that movie even if I wasn't in it. You know what I mean?
How did that
read my phone? I would have loved that movie even if I wasn't in it. It was just like I got even for every death I had on screen. You know, because I think me and Jessica Alba killed about 4 people the first 2 minutes of that movie.
We have some more questions here. Let's see. What was the most difficult part of the book to write?
I think the stuff about my mom and my dad, that stuff was really, really hard. I didn't do it at first. I think it's in the text. I didn't do it at first. I did it, how do you say it? It was kind of like, we kind of wrote it. Then when I gave it to Maeve to read, she kind of said, hey, you got to put that in there because that's you. And I think those were the hardest things I did. So I had to do that. I had to put that in there. And I think it was almost a purge for me.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, here's another question. What is the story that didn't make it into the book that you wish there had been room for?
You know, there's so many. Donald Logue has, I think, 4,000 pages left over that we haven't, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. There's what role do you find has had? Oh, well, you already read that one. How did you meet Robert Rodriguez?
I went and cast for a movie called Desperado. Did you get it?
I texted him.
Oh, I went and cast for a movie called Desperado. And when I walked in, Robert Rodriguez said, hey, you remind me of the bad guys in my high school. I said, I am the bad guys in your high school. And we just hit it off. He gave me a knife. I started messing with it. So when we were in Acuña, Mexico, my family came down from San Antonio, Texas to see me. And my Uncle Rudy said, hey, who's that kid? I said, it's Robert Rodriguez, the director. Called Robert Rodriguez over and my uncle said, hey, say hello to your cousin. And we found out we were second cousins.
Oh, my God.
Didn't even know it.
Just like that.
Oh, he hasn't responded.
Yeah, didn't even know it.
Wow.
So I said, okay, cuz, make my part bigger.
Okay, let's see. This is going back to being a dad. Do you feel that being a father has improved your acting skills?
Being a father has improved what?
Do you feel that being a father has improved your acting skills?
I think being a father has improved me as a man. I don't know about acting, just, I'm telling you, it's like dads, you know, hey, there's a special place in heaven. You know, anybody can be a father, but it takes a hell of a guy to be a dad, you know what I mean? And my kids consider me a dad, and they know no matter what, I got their back.
Yeah.
You know, and I hear people complain of my child support. Screw you, pay the damn thing. You want to party with her, pay the child support.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't, and the guys that I sponsor in AA and NA and CA, they know better to talk to me about child support and about how this, you know, because it doesn't happen.
Okay, before we wrap this up, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning, you're also an entrepreneur. Now tell us about your business ventures, right?
I've got some restaurants that I absolutely love. Where's my paper? I got a lot of restaurants that happened as a result of me helping someone else. I got a record label now, and that's awesome. I got a record label that's killing it right now, and I'm dropping an album, a record this week by Trish Toledo and Coda the Barber. It's called If You Don't Mind, and it's a great record. And I've got some singers. I got one, Jasmine, that looks exactly like Selena and sounds just like her, you know. Twixie, who can sing anything she wants. Tara New, same thing. We're having a blast. We're having so much fun with this record label. I sponsor a little fighter named Denise Estrada, who just won the WBC and the WBA champ of the world. And that's awesome. You know, I just love working. I love being involved in people's lives.
Yeah. What is the name of the label?
Trejo's Music.
And what other artists do you have on the label?
The artists right now are Trish Toledo, Coda the Barber, Jasmine Torres, Diana Gonzalez, and Tara New, and they're all like unbelievable.
You gotta send us some music, man.
We'll do.
Yeah. You know, the word redemption. Well, we wrap this up, and I really want to thank you for doing this. The word redemption is in the title of your book, and it's defined as the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. Is that the lesson of your book and of your life?
That's it.
That we all have.
That's the whole thing, redemption. And it's like, you know what? People always ask me, well, where would you be without God? I said, I'd be dead. Do you understand? You don't know the life I lived, man. I'm holding hands with the devil. Anybody that uses drugs, it's like you're holding hands with the devil. And until you let go of that hand, you know, you're either going to die, go to jail, or go insane. And for me, it's like, well, I had to let go and grab that other hand, you know, grab God's hand. And it's like, that's what I do. I walk with him every day.
Well, you know, Danny, thank you so much for being on Alt.Latino. And thank you again. I think I speak for a lot of people out there and people who are watching and commenting, for being a symbol of good, a Latino, or in this case, a Chicano, right? Who's very much in the public eye, that can inspire us to be our best. So, bro, thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Holmes.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah. Well, let's next time we get together, we can eat some.
Where are you at? Are you in LA?
I'm in Washington D.C.
All right.
But I got to make it out there just to have some donuts.
Anytime. Come on, dinner's on me.
Okay, man. All right. Thanks a lot. Some music. All right.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. We've got another Instagram Live coming up in a couple of weeks. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. I enjoy them all, but he was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.